Good evening, Jai Hind. I hope all of you are doing well. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and Jai Hind. I hope all of you are doing well. So like last day we have discussed certain topics like we have talked about parliamentary proceedings. We have seen that in the parliament the number of working of days has reduced. We have talked about some other topics also in this regard, and last day we have solved certain questions based on the topics which we have discussed in the previous classes. Okay. So today also we are going to do the same thing. We are going to start with some of the questions which we have for the topics which we have discussed in last session. We will see some science related questions also at the end of the session, and then we will discuss some more topics today. Okay. So see, the topics which we are going to see today is, first of all, the suicides among CISF personnel. So recently there is this one report of NCRB, like now this the suicide rates among CISF personnel have come down. So that is a matter of relief. Okay, so we are going to talk about this topic. Second thing is, we are going to talk about this GM mustard case. Right now what we have seen that there is a body, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. So government has come with some guidelines, some of the recent rules with respect to this committee. We are going to talk about this one also. The third thing which we are going to talk about is hydrogels. There was this one report, there was this one news article that scientists have used this hydrogel. They have claimed that they can use this hydrogel for treatment of specific cancer cases. So we are going to talk about hydrogels also. What are they? What are their applications? And what is the recent claim also about this? Okay. The fourth thing which we are going to talk about is Panama Treaty. So the new US president is not very much happy with Panama Treaty. So we are going to talk about this. What is this Panama Treaty all about? Why this is crucial? What is the current matter right now? Why US or the new US president is not happy with Panama Treaty? And then we will also see some science tech related question. Okay. Now, good evening everyone. Now before we proceed, there was this one question from Disha, that why is Kazakhstan considered a landlocked country? There was this one question that why is Kazakhstan considered a landlocked country even though it shares a border with Caspian Sea, and it's through which it can trade with countries like Azerbaijan, Iran. Then what is the region? Why do we consider this Kazakhstan as the largest landlocked country of the world? It is the largest landlocked country of the world, even though it is sharing this border with Caspian Sea, and still it is called as landlocked nation. So we are going to talk about this one also. Okay, there is this one question. Have question about Union Carbide, those destroying Pathimpur and Indore. Yeah, like whenever we are having some disposal of the waste material, there is going to be some impact. But then the waste material has to be discarded in one manner or another manner. Like if you see the news reports also, you will find that it is discarded in such a manner that it doesn't become a cause for concern of human health. Okay. Now, come back to this question. Why is Kazakhstan considered a landlocked country? See, if you look at Kazakhstan, it is here, and you will find that it is having a small link with this Caspian Sea. But still, we call this area as a landlocked nation. Can you tell me why? Any one of you? Why do we call this as a landlocked country? Why do we consider it as a landlocked country? See, if you look at this, there are other countries also which are sharing border with Black Sea. They are not having any other linkage. They are sharing border with Black Sea, but they are not called as landlocked country. So what's special here, that this area, this Kazakhstan, has been called as a landlocked country because Caspian Sea is a lake. Okay. Now, yes, of course, in the recent times, you might have seen that there was this agreement between the 5 countries that we can call it as a lake. But even before this, like this is a recent agreement between the 5 countries which are sharing border with Caspian Sea, that they have said that now it will be called as a lake. But even before that also, Kazakhstan was still called as a landlocked nation. Okay. It is not a sea, because Caspian Sea has no water. No, it has water. It's not like Aral Sea or Lake Baikal. It has still got some water. See, the main thing is this Caspian Sea. If you look at this Caspian Sea, is having no link with any major water body. Means you will find that this Caspian Sea itself is like a landlocked sea. Yes, Caspian Sea is having no such link with any other sea. When you will find this Black Sea, it is connected with Sea of Marmara and then this entire Mediterranean. But you will find that this Caspian Sea is having no linkage with any other sea or any other major water body. It is having no link with any other major water body or any other sea also. So this Caspian Sea itself is a landlocked sea, okay, and it is not providing this opportunity to go beyond the Caspian Sea. If there are certain countries surrounding this Black Sea region, they have this opportunity. Black Sea is connected here via a very small sea. There is a very small sea here called as Sea of Marmara. Okay, Sea of Marmara. This is there in near this Turkey. It is the one sea which is dividing Turkey into 2 parts. And then you will find that then it is connected to this Mediterranean. But in the case of Caspian, there is no such connection anywhere. That's why it is called as a landlocked country. Okay. So that is the region. Now, coming to today's question, coming to today's topic, today's practice question. We have discussed about Simlipal in the last session. So here the question is, which of the following are correct with respect to Simlipal National Park? First is saying it has moist, deciduous and semi-evergreen vegetation. It has the only population of black tigers. It has the only population, means black tigers are found only here. Third is saying Godavari river passes through this park. So how many of them are correct? How many of them are correct here? The first is saying it has moist, deciduous and semi-evergreen vegetation. Second is saying it has the only population of black tiger. Third is saying Godavari river passes through this area. So which of them is correct? Which of them are correct or are correct? Okay, a few answers are coming as option B. I think you know this part. Okay. Godavari river doesn't passes through this. So third statement here is incorrect. It has the only population of black tiger. That is true. It has the moist, deciduous and semi-evergreen type of vegetation. So that first statement is also true. Okay. So first and second are true. Third is incorrect. Godavari river is not passing through this area. There are more than 12 plus rivers which passes through this. Godavari is not one of them. Godavari river doesn't pass through this. We have seen the location. It is in the upper part of Odisha, in the eastern part of Eastern Ghat region. So this third option is incorrect. Answer will be option B, only 2. See. Now look at this question. Tigers have been relocated from Tadoba National Park to Simlipal National Park. It has been done to increase the population of black tigers in Simlipal National Park. See at question number 2. This is assertion reasoning type question. So tell me about this. What will be the correct one here? Tigers have been relocated from Tadoba National Park to Simlipal National Park. Second is saying it has been done to increase the population of black tigers in Simlipal National Park. First option is saying both A and R are correct and R explains A. Both A and R are correct but R does not explain A. A is correct but R is incorrect. Fourth is saying A is incorrect but R is correct. Okay, so I think majority of the answer is option A. Okay, so all of you are wrong. Okay, first option is correct. Tigers have been relocated from Tadoba National Park to Simlipal National Park. This is something which we have seen. Why it has been done? It has been done to increase the genetic diversity, not the number of black tigers. Black tigers are not found everywhere. It has not been done to increase the number of black tigers. Rather than that, it has been done to increase the genetic diversity of the population of Simlipal National Park. Okay. So it has been done for increasing the genetic diversity. Increasing the genetic diversity. So it is not specifically that we want to increase the number of black tigers over here. We want to have more genetic diversity so that population of tigers in this Simlipal can become sustainable. They can become sustainable. So for doing that, we are transferring it from Tadoba. Tadoba is not having black tigers. It is only Simlipal which is having black tigers. So by transferring, we will not increase the population. We will increase the genetic diversity so that more and more tigers can sustain over there. So this second option is incorrect. First one is correct. Answer will be option C. Okay. This answer will be option C. Coming to third question. Which of the following is not a pollutant in groundwaters of India? Nitrate, uranium, fluoride, formaldehyde. Which of them is not a pollutant in groundwaters of India? Okay, so question number 3. We have this question number 3. Tell me about this. Which of the following is not a pollutant in groundwater of India? Okay, a few answer as option D, A also, D also. D option, C option, B option and D option. Other than, I think other than option like, other than this option A, I think everything has been included. See, we have already talked about this nitrate level. We have specifically talked about this nitrate level, that it is very much high. It is very much high in the groundwaters of India. It has crossed 440 mg per liter. Okay. So that we have seen that it has already crossed. Uranium is also there. Fluoride is also there. formaldehyde is not as a pollutant in the waters of India. So apart from this formaldehyde, all other pollutants can be seen in the rivers of India. This was also this question. If you look at this, it was also the question in UPSC prelims exam. In UPSC prelims exam also we had the same question. Okay. So I hope it is clear. I hope now it is clear. Now, yes, about that question, Tirith, I have asked the team to look into it. They will inform me, and just give me one more time. I have asked the team to look into it where and why it is missing. Okay. So you know that recently there was this challenge and there was some issue with the YouTube channel. So might be due to which there can have been some problem. Okay. So give some more time. We are looking into it. Okay. Give some more time. We are looking into this. So there might have been some challenge due to that issue with the channel. Okay. So we will definitely notify you about this. Okay. Now coming to today's topic, this is one of the topic which we have to see today. There is this one good news that suicide cases among CISF personnel have come down. Okay. There is this report of NCRB which says that now the suicide rates have come down. You can see that in 2020, okay, in 2020 the cases of death by suicide, it was 18. In 21 it increased to 21. In 22 this increased to 26 and even 25. Okay. Then what we see that in 2024 the number has come down to 15. Okay. Rate of cases per lakh, if you see that, now it has come down to 9.86. Rate of suicide cases per lakh has come down to 9.86. Okay. So what we have seen that number of suicide cases among CISF personnel, it has decreased in the recent times. Okay. So that is one a good aspect of, or one positive aspect which we are seeing in case of CISF. Okay. Now, why there is a rate of, or why there is suicides among the CISF personnel? What regions have been identified? See, if we look at this, it has been said that, now it is officially said that there is one thing, stress. Okay. Over stress for the CISF personnel. At the same time, personal issues, prolonged family separation and work related pressure, they have been identified as 4 main regions due to which there were high number of suicides among CISF personnel. And you can see that, if you just look at this figure, it was growing from 2020 to 2023. You can see that there was an increasing trend of suicides among the CISF personnel. Okay. From 18 it has reached to 26 also. So there is more and more suicides coming up. But then due to suitable steps by the CISF and by the government, what we have seen that now the cases have come down. Okay. So the question is, what step has been taken by them? What step has been taken by them? Steps taken. Now, there is one thing which has been done by the CISF in this regard. That is the commanding officer. The commanding officer is regularly visiting the duty post. Okay. Regular visit by commanding officer. Regular visit by commanding officer. Regular visit by commanding officer. So this ensures that if there is any such personnel who are having certain grievances, they can talk with their commanding officers. Okay. At the same time, CISF has also introduced online grievance portal. Online grievance portal. Online grievance portal is also there. so that if any of the personnels are having some challenge, they can report it online also. Okay. And it allows them to monitor these grievances at all the levels. Okay. So this is one part which has been done under this CISF. Third thing which has been done is mental health support. Mental health support 24/7. Okay. So there is like 24/7 tele-counseling and personal counseling. Tele-counseling and through personal counseling, there is 24/7 mental health support. Okay. Then even there is one-to-one counseling session also. One-to-one counseling. You might have seen one thing. You might have seen this one thing, that in our country, the rates of suicides are increasing. Especially if we look at this among the young people. The rates of suicides are increasing, and we have seen the similar cases in case of like paramilitary forces also, or other wings of government also. In various government departments or government offices or forces, we have seen higher cases of suicides by personnels. Okay. Even in other sections of society also, what we are seeing, that there is a increase in this trend of suicides in India. Okay. There are multiple reasons behind it. Okay. From personal to professional to many other reasons are there. Okay. But ultimately the cases are increasing, and while CISF has started acting on it, in various other domains, we see that this is largely missing. It is largely missing. So that remains a concern. Okay. Right. So CISF fire squad, call anytime on fireplace. I mean, you will find that CISF, like the paramilitary forces, whether we are talking about CISF, BSF or others, many a times we have seen that there have been challenges with respect to these forces. Sometimes it has come to limelight also, and government and the forces are working to resolve these issues. Okay. So one of that issue is mental health, and we have seen that a positive aspect of this has been, there has been a reduction, that to 40% dip in this suicide cases among CISF personnel. Okay. So that is the first news article which we had to see. The second major articles which we have to see is GM Mustard and this one committee, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. First, tell me one thing. There is an institution, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. So can you tell me, like this committee, what is the role of this? And under which ministry this organization is working? What is the role and the ministry? Which is the ministry and what is the role? What is the role of this organization and which ministry is there? What is the role of this organization? There is this news article about Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee only. Okay. We will talk about in detail of this topic. It is very much important for your examination. Okay. CISR, Information and Technology. Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. Which ministry is there? It works under the supervision of which ministry? Environment Ministry. And what is the role? No, this is one part. It works under the provisions of Ministry of Environment. Okay. This is the one thing which works under the provisions of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Yes, earlier it was under this Science and Technology Ministry, but now we see that it is under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. This Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee has multiple roles. One of the very prominent role is approval of the genetic materials or genetic crops in India. Okay. One of the major role is approval for GM crops. Approval for GM crops. Okay. Now see, the government has come with some guidelines. We will come to that guidelines, but before that, we have to understand the history of it. That why there was a conflict which led to change in the guidelines or which led to change in the rules. So why there was a conflict? It all starts with one of the crop which is GM mustard. Okay. It is one of the crop DMH mustard. It is also known as Dhara mustard hybrid 11, DMH 11. Okay. DMH 11. Now normally what we see that the mustard plant, if we look at this, mustard plant is normally going through self-pollination. You will find that this goes through self-pollination. Okay. So now what happens that if a plant is undergoing self-pollination, it is very much difficult. It is very much difficult to prepare a hybrid of it. It is very much difficult to prepare a hybrid of this crop. And in the Indian variants, the productivity of mustard is quite low. We know that we are one of the topmost importers, consumers and producers of many of the vegetable oils. Okay. But we are definitely the largest importer and consumer. We are the largest importer and consumer of edible oils. And what we see that, like, why we are doing this? Because our mustard variety is not very much productive. Its productivity is quite low. So if we want to create a hybrid, it is not possible because it goes through self-pollination. So in order to overcome this challenge, in order to make a hybrid, we adopted this GM, yani genetic modification. We adopted this process of genetic modification. So what was done? We have got 3 different genes which were inserted in Indian variant. Okay. We took a Indian variant which was called as Varun. We added a Indian variant which was called as Varun. And we got a East European variant which was Hira. Okay. So if we talk about Varun, in that Varun mustard variety of India, there was addition of a gene, and that gene was simply Barnage. That gene was simply Barnage. This Barnage helped to make this Varun variant sterile. Means now there will not be any such self-pollination. So this makes it sterile. So no self-pollination. No self-pollination. And what we also did in the East European variant Hira, we added another gene which is called as bar star. So that bar star gene, it can restore fertility. It can restore fertility. So there was a cross-pollination. There was a cross-pollination between these 2 variants. There was this cross-pollination between these 2 variants, that is Indian Varun variant and plus Hira variant of Europe. First we made this Indian variant sterile, so there was no self-pollination. Then we added one gene to a East European variant. That variant was named as Hira. Okay. In that Hira, we added one gene bar star. Okay. Now we also did cross pollination of Hira and Varun. So this helped us to create a hybrid. This helped us to create a hybrid DMH11. And in this hybrid, the barnage which was coming from Varun was neutralized by bar star coming from Hira. So now this hybrid will again be capable of self-pollination. Now it will again be capable of self-pollination. But since this is already a hybrid, now it will have higher productivity. Now this is going to have a higher productivity. That was the main thing which was achieved in this DMH11. We added barnage to Varun, make it sterile. Then we did its cross pollination with Hira. In Hira, there was an addition of one more gene, bar star. Their cross pollination resulted in this hybrid DMH11. Now this hybrid is having barnage also, bar star also. Bar star will be able to neutralize barnage, and hence this will become possible for hybrid DMH11 to do self-pollination. So now in future, this can give higher productivity also, plus self-pollination has been restored. So we created this DMH11 with this purpose. DMH11 was in fact allowed in India. Okay. What is the next thing? That on 18th November 2022, on 18th November 2000, sorry, October, not November, 18th October 2022, the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, it approved GM mustard. It approved the GM mustard. So then there was petition in Supreme Court. And it said that GM mustard should not be allowed in India. So there was a judgment by two judges of Supreme Court. The challenge was both of them have given like the split judgment. Means one was in the favor of introduction of GM crop. The other judge was against the introduction of GM crop. So ultimately there was no result. Okay. So in July 23, 2023, what happened that a split verdict from Supreme Court. So there was no result after this. But in this judgment itself, Supreme Court said that you must form a national policy on GM crops. In this judgment itself, it instructed that you should make provision that there is no conflict of interest. Okay. So from here, the whole story begins. That the petitioners who were there, they were saying that under this Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, there are certain members who were earlier part of a company which was called as Monsanto. Monsanto is one company which was promoting the GM crops. So it was said that the technical group of this Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee was having one of the expert member who was affiliated or related with Monsanto. So normally suppose that if you have anyone in the inside, you might get the judgment in your favor. So that was one of the argument of the petitioner. And for this, the Supreme Court directed here to make provisions for resolving conflict of interest. Okay. And for this matter, now the government has come with this guideline. that now if anyone is becoming the member of this genetic engineering appraisal committee, they have to tell about this, that in the past 1 decade, have they been in any manner associated with any of the company which is promoting GM crops, okay, or are they having any source of any such conflict of interest or not, okay. So they have to declare it and they have to recuse themselves from that expert committee, okay. So now the new guidelines is all about this, that the experts must the experts have to declare if they have been connected with any such company or not. They have to also declare if they are having some conflict of interest or not. If they are having some conflict of interest, they have to recuse themselves, means they do not have to give advice in that specific matter. Okay. This is the main part which is coming from this rules of the government about genetic engineering appraisal committee. So that was the entire scenario about this situation. I hope it is clear. Yes, GM is one thing which has been continuously in the news. Okay. So this is the entire story, that it started with GM mustard, and over the last 15 years, this GM mustard has been one of the most challenging crops to be released into the environment. Okay. Whenever there is one such attempt to release the GM mustard, there is some petition. Many a times it has been there in the news that the genetic engineering appraisal committee, sometimes the Ministry of Environment has cleared all things for introduction of GM crops. But then there is petitions in the court, and then there is stay also on that order. Okay. So for a very long period of time now, it is stuck, and hence this GM issue is still pertaining. Now Supreme Court has also directed the government to come with a policy on GM crops. So this is just the beginning. In the upcoming days, we might see some more policy measures with respect to GM crops. So that is the second article. Now, coming to the third article, hydrogels. The third article is about hydrogels. So recently what has happened, that some of the Indian researchers, they have said that they can use this hydrogel for targeted cancer treatment. Can you tell me what are hydrogels? Anyone? Can you tell me what are hydrogels? What are hydrogels? What are hydrogels? What are hydrogels? Any idea? This is one of the very common topic these days, hydrogels. Okay. See, if we talk about hydrogels, they are soft, porous and elastic materials. Okay. Yes, these are water-based polymers, or they are like polymers which can absorb huge amount of liquid. Okay. So these are soft, porous and elastic materials. Soft, porous and elastic materials. They are basically mainly synthetic polymers, and they are able to absorb huge amount of fluids around them. Okay. They can absorb large amount of fluids. They can absorb large amount of fluids. Okay. So that is one thing, like these, yes, hydrogels have multiple use. So they can absorb large amount of fluids. They are also similar to biological tissues. Okay. They have similarity to biological tissues. They have similarity to biological tissues. Okay. And for this purpose, like it can be used for many things. Hydrogels which are there, it can be used for many things. Hydrogels can be used for targeted drug delivery. Targeted drug delivery. Suppose that if hydrogels are there, so hydrogels can be injected. These hydrogels, they can be injected with medicines. They can be injected with medicines and they will be able to like maintain the amount of medicines in the blood. Okay. So can be injected with drugs to maintain drug level in blood. Means when we are talking about the medicines, if we have to sustain a particular amount of medicine in the blood, that can be done through the use of hydrogels. Okay. They can also be done to replace soft tissues of the body. Okay. Can also be used to replace soft tissues. They can also be used to replace these soft tissues of the body also. Okay. At the same times, they can be used for cell culture, biosensors, all other things. So recently what has been said that like researchers from IIT Guwahati and Bose Institute in Kolkata, they have said that they can use these hydrogels for targeted drug delivery for cancer patients. Okay. They have said that these hydrogels can like supply the drugs to the cancer cells directly. Okay. Okay. So it can be recently IIT Guwahati and Bose Institute Kolkata. So they claimed use of hydrogels for drug delivery in cancer patients. So what they have said that see, in the cancer, one of the major challenges, suppose you are providing some medicines to kill the cells of the body. If you are providing medicines to kill the cells of the body, there is a challenge that while killing the cancer cells, the other cells of the body might also get affected. So this hydrogels provides us opportunity that drugs will be released only on the cancer cell, not on the other cells of the body. Okay. So these hydrogels can be used for targeted drug delivery on cancer cells and hence can help in curing the cancer also. So for that purpose, they have been there in the news. Remember one thing, they are synthetic polymers. They are having this ability to contain huge amount of fluids, can be used for targeted drug delivery, can also be used for acting as soft tissues in the body. They can be used for biosensors also. They can be used for cell culture also. So these are the works of hydrogels. Okay. This is also one of the news which was there. Then these are like hydrogels. These small structures which you are seeing here, these are the hydrogels. Okay. Then there is one more news article. That is Panama Treaty. And we have seen a new president in US now, Donald Trump. So he is saying that this Panama Treaty is foolish. Okay. First tell me one thing. This Panama Canal, what are the two water bodies which are getting joined with the help of this Panama Canal? Which water bodies are getting joined here with the help of Panama Canal? I think this is quite easy. You can easily tell me. Which water bodies are getting joined with the help of Panama Canal? Pacific and Atlantic? I think this is quite easy. Atlantic and Pacific, or Pacific and Atlantic oceans are getting joined. And you can see here, if we look at the map, you can see here, this Panama Canal connects this New York with San Francisco. Okay. If we try to look at these two locations, suppose if a ship has to go from New York to San Francisco, then if they are going through the old route, it will take 13,100 nautical miles. It will take 13,100 nautical miles, whereas if they are using this Panama Canal, it will take them only 5,200 nautical miles. Okay. Only 5,200 nautical miles. So for this purpose, Panama Canal is very much crucial for United States. Now this Panama Canal, if we look at this location, it was built in 1914. This work on Panama Canal started in, it was opened in 1914. Who constructed this? The majority of the construction was done by US. Okay. Constructed by US. Constructed by US. Okay. So this was also the time, this 1914, see this was the time of World War. This was the time of World War. So this Panama Canal also placed US as a major technological power and economic power of the world. Okay. It also it provided that technological and economic power to United States. Okay. It was a reflection of the rise of a new giant in the world politics, that was United States. So this was Panama Canal, constructed by US in opened in 1914. This is a 80-kilometer canal. If we look at this, it is a 80-kilometer canal. Okay. Now, for almost one century, you can see that this was controlled by United States. This was controlled by United States for almost one century. In 1999, United States handed this to Panama. Okay. Handed over to Panama in 1999. Okay. Handed over to Panama. Handed over to Panama. Okay. So this was the time when US left its control over the Panama. It provided this option to Panama to control it. Okay. This was earlier called as Panama Canal Treaty. Okay. And it transferred the entire authority to Panama state. Second thing, what we have seen that there was also one thing, permanent neutrality treaty. There was also this permanent neutrality treaty. So under this permanent neutrality treaty, this Panama Canal was declared as neutral, and it was open to vessels of all nations. Okay. Panama Canal became open. Panama was opened for all nations. Means all other countries can now use this Panama Canal. It was made neutral. So now this was all the countries can have trade through this Panama route. Okay. So, but US was given this priority. Okay. So US, under this treaty, US has this power to defend the neutrality of this Panama Canal. US was given this power that US will defend the neutrality, and at the same time it will have priority passes in case of military emergency. If there is a military emergency, US will be given the preference, plus US will always ensure that there is neutrality of this Panama Canal. So Panama cannot block one countries or other countries. It has to be neutral, and that will be safeguarded by United States under this treaty. Okay. So that was the agreement, that there will be neutrality. Okay. That was the agreement, that there will be neutrality. And the second thing was special access to US in military emergency, in military case, okay, or military emergency. So that were the provisions of this Panama Treaty. Now what is changing now? Why the US president is not so much happy about this Panama Treaty? Why this is not so much happy? Okay. See, first thing is, there are two reasons, two factors. First factor is cost. Now you know that there is global warming, there is this Panama Canal is also drying up, and due to drying of this, the number of vessels which can pass through this Panama Canal is getting reduced. Now to cover that loss, it is increasing the tariff. Okay. So what we have seen, that scarcity of water, this led to less vessels can pass, and this led to higher tariff. Okay. So that is the one thing, that now the countries have to pay higher tariff for passing through this Panama. Okay. So it has led to increase in the transit fee. The US is not very much happy about it. There is second challenge also. Okay. The second challenge is increased Chinese presence. Increased China's presence or Chinese presence. Increased Chinese presence in this Panama Canal region. What we see that Panama has become part of Belt and Road Initiative. Panama is part of Belt and Road Initiative of China, BRI China. Okay. So Panama has become this partner of Belt and Road Initiative. Okay. It has become the first Latin American country to sign this Belt and Road Initiative of China. And you know, when China comes there, it will control something. So there are two ports near this entry of canal which are being operated by China. So two entry ports are being operated by China. So this is the second concern. One concern is about the higher tariff. Second concern is about the presence of China. Okay. So what US will mainly say that under this Treaty of Panama, it was supposed to be a neutral. Channel. But now what we see, that there is increased Chinese presence, so there is no such neutrality. So treaty is getting violated. Hence, the new US president is calling this Panama Treaty as a foolish treaty or something which is harming the US interest. Okay. So I hope this is clear. What is this Panama Treaty? Okay. Now, so this is the fourth topic of the day about Panama. Now we will see some science questions which we have. Okay. So let's come to the science tech question. There are easy questions. I think all of you can easily answer this. So one of the question is, which of the following correctly explains the Polaris Dawn mission? Which of them correctly explains the Polaris Dawn mission? The first one is saying, first mission to orbit polar regions of moon, first mission to cross Kuiper belt, first commercial spacewalk, and first mission to focus on finding new exoplanets. So what is the correct about this Polaris Dawn mission? Which of them is correct about Polaris Dawn mission? Here again, not August, September. It is from September 24. Polaris Dawn mission. One answer is option A from Megha. Option A. Polaris Dawn mission is very much famous. A option from Harendra, Prachi and Megha, and Harshit is saying option D. Anyone else? What will be the correct answer here? Polaris Dawn mission. One answer is option C from Ritu. So tell me which one will be correct. Polaris Dawn mission. Which of the following correctly explains the Polaris Dawn mission? See, Polaris Dawn mission is not, this is not the orbit polar regions of moon. It is incorrect. Not the first mission to cross Kuiper belt. It is the first commercial spacewalk. It has been organized by SpaceX. Okay. SpaceX is one of the organizer of this Polaris Dawn mission. Okay. So this is the first private and commercial spacewalk. It reached up to a height of around 1400 kilometers, which is roughly 3 times the height of International Space Station. Okay. So that is the first spacewalk, private spacewalk. Okay. Second question, Veritas, Da Vinci and Envision are often seen in the news in context of Moon mission, Mars colony, Venus mission and Saturn mission. Question number 2. Veritas, Da Vinci and Envision. They are often seen in the news in context of what? They are related with which mission? Question number 2. One answer is D from Harshit. Ritu is saying option C. I have given you the topic. I have already given you this like a list of, not list, but I have given you the area that from the month of September 24 we are getting the questions. So option C, option B. See, Veritas, Da Vinci and Envision, they are all Venus mission. You know that India has also come with this Shukriyan. And in that context only, we are talking about the different other Venus missions. When we are talking about the Venus missions, Veritas and Da Vinci, they are the missions of US. And this Envision, it is the mission of European Space Agency. Shukriyan is the mission of ISRO. So all these three are basically missions to Venus, that is Shukra. Okay. So these are related to option C. Now coming to the third one, which of the following is not correct with respect to square kilometer array? Which of them is not correct with respect to a square kilometer array? It aims to build world's largest radio telescope. It will help to detect gravitational waves. It will consist of one single largest antenna of the world. India is a full-time member of this project. Which of the following is not correct with respect to square kilometer array project? Which of them is not correct with respect to a square kilometer array project? Tell me about this one. Okay, one answer is option D from Harendra. Anyone else? What will be the answer here? It aims. Nitin is saying option A. Okay. A, B and D. Three options I have got till now. Option A also, option B also, option D also. Option B. See, if we talk about this square kilometer array, this is a project where we see that headquarters in UK, located in South Africa and Australia. Okay. This will consist of a large number of smaller radio telescope. A large number of a smaller radio telescope. Okay. It is going to help us to understand universe. It will help us to understand universe and even gravitational waves. It will also help us in understanding of gravitational waves. Okay. So this is correct. This is correct. This is also correct. India has become a full-time member of this project July 2024. India has been associate member. India has been associate member since 2012. Now in July 2024, India has become a full-fledged member of this square kilometer array project. Okay. So it is not building one single largest antenna, rather than what you will find at in one square kilometer, there will be a large number of radio telescopes which will create a single largest telescope system, radio telescope system. It will help us to understand the gravitational waves also, to even understand the mysteries of universe. That is the aim of this square kilometer array project. Okay. So this is one part which we see in case of question number 3. This is also a very important topic this year because India has joined it. Okay. So you have to read about this topic in detail, square kilometer array project. Okay. Now, so for the next day, again, we will have some more questions from September 2024. Okay. We have seen already 6-7 questions from September. We will see 3-4 more. And from Tuesday to Thursday, we will see questions of October. Then we will start with November and December. Okay. So by the next Friday, we will complete this entire. Today is 3. So on 10th or 17th, by 17th January, we are going to complete the entire science related questions. I hope you have already gone through previous topics which we have discussed. Okay. So this is one part. At the end, there is one question for you. At the end, there is one question for you. All those who are watching the sessions, do mention this. What are the advantages of GM crops? This is one question for you. What are the advantages of GM crops? So mention that in the comment box. Okay. We will meet again on Monday then at 5 p.m. to discuss the current affairs. Okay. So let's meet on Monday, and I am waiting for your answer on this one. What are the possible advantages of GM crops? If you want to mention, you can also mention what are the limitations of it. Okay. So that will be the question for the day. You have to make the notes, especially the questions which I am giving with respect to science and technology. I have said in the beginning only that try to make some short notes on those topics. Okay. So thank you everyone. Let's meet in the next session then, and then we will discuss the remaining topics. Okay. Thank you and take care. Okay. Yes, there was one question about the mapping session. So yes, we are looking into it, and we will be like on Monday I will tell you the answer for that one. Okay. So thank you and take care. Thank you.